Here with the Juris Doctor, James Cioffi, talking about actual taking possession of the property. It can be thorny, Jim.
Yes, pleasure, Kurt. Sometimes a buyer will want possession before closing because they need to get out of their current residence and want possession of a property before closing. And sometimes a seller wants possession after a closing. So we really need to have a written agreement to govern the terms of that particular possession. So for instance, we want to know if there's going to be any rent charged, exactly what the time period is. In the event the closing doesn't take place, that the buyer will vacate the property if the buyer takes possession before closing. And then with the seller, we want the time period that the seller will stay. Because very often a seller will be, let's say, building a home, and the builder says, well, we need another month. So enter into an agreement with the buyer, staying at 30 days, but then come 20 days and they say, oh my God, we need another month. So the buyer might not be in a position to extend that. So we want to be sure that it's very clear what that possession period was, have a written agreement, because unfortunately, if they don't move out, we have to resort to eviction.
Mm-hmm. What happens if I move something into a property before it actually closes and something bad happens to it?
Yes, what we normally do is have the buyer sign an indemnification and hold harmless agreement so that the owner is not responsible for any damage to the property that might be moved there before the closing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Even if there's a flood or someone breaks in and steals it?
If it's beyond the control of the seller didn't intentionally damage the property, then we ask that they be indemnified and held harmless against that property being on their property before the closing.
But if their cat scratches up my couch, I don't have any recourse?
No, there could be if it were some type of negligence or intentional conduct.
Okay, and that's why you talk to an attorney.
That's why you need an attorney with these things.
James Cioffi, Juris Doctor.
Thanks,
Thank
Kurt.
you for the advice.